Welcome from Munich with the Huawei Ascend G7 complete review, which is a beautiful smartphone looking quite amazing and has a full metal body, 5.5-inch HD display, and it's only 7.6mm thin. And as you can see, we have the whole 7 series here by Huawei in the picture with the P7 also and the Mate 7. These were all announced last year as the G7, but all different display sizes, 6-inch, 5.5-inch, and 5-inch, or 5.1, I'm not remembering quite right, but I think this was 5-inch. These two have a full HD display, this only has an HD display, and last year there was also the Honor 6, which has also a full HD display, a little bit cheaper. It's also by Huawei, but with a spin-off brand, so they can attack Xiaomi. Also, at the end, we will compare it with the Apple iPhone 6 Plus, because it has the same display size. It's a little bit taller though, and with, for example, the HTC Desire I, because it has also 5.5 inches, but it's waterproof, and the Samsung alternative, the Note 4, which is, of course, also about the same size, but a little bit more expensive. So for $300, what you will get is a full metal smartphone, beautiful cameras built in with 30 megapixels and a flash, and on the front we have a great 5 megapixel selfie camera. Then we have a micro SD card slot and a SIM card slot, micro SIM, not nano SIM. In I think Asia this is also dual SIM, for Europe that's not. Then we have here the volume rocker, on and off switch, on the bottom micro USB and the microphone, of course. On the left side as usually nothing, and on the top we have your headset port. So that's from the hardware side. If you turn the device on, you will see that we have, of course, the Android 4.4 running right now. KitKat still, no Lollipop yet, but you can also see that we have quite beautiful background pictures. Each time you turn it on, a different one. Here in the Emotion UI that's developed by Huawei, which means it has a little bit, of course, different, again, approach to the UI and the user interface than Samsung and Acer and all the other companies. But for example, what's interesting is here on the lock screen, you can right away again do something like you can do with the Apple products. You have your calculator, flashlight, calendar, and for example selfie camera right away there, or you can also check out your songs or whatever you're doing. You can also swipe that down again, and when you swipe to the side you unlock the device actually like this. It has 2 gigs of RAM, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 610 64-bit processor, which means, again, it's quite fast, as you can see here. We have 2 gigs of RAM, as I mentioned already, of which we're using 1 gig right now, but I can close, for example, Tempo Run, then something should free up, like around 150 megabytes. I can also close here the camera, swipe settings, or, for example, mirror, and then more and more, of course, will free up here from the RAM, but of course there's always something that you need here just to run the device itself, which doesn't have an option to show you the apps in a list like you have usually here on the bottom. A button for that. You have just all the apps always on your screens, on your home screens, and you have, of course, the possibility to use folders, for example, to have, for example, tools or top apps or anything like that here, just a little bit stored away. You can see actually here everything you see is pre-installed already, except for these 3 apps that I installed myself. And also we have themes here built in, which means that you can also download a few other themes. If you don't like the one I'm showing you right now, you can just choose from something completely different in terms of the buttons. All the apps have, or most of the apps have then a different UI, and if you like just a little bit more color, for example, this blossom could be quite nice, or you develop a theme for yourself, that's also possible. There's hundreds and thousands of themes available, but you can also, as I said, customize here, which is of course quite handy if you just want to make your phone more appealing to yourself. So specs-wise, again, if you go here into the Antutu, you can see the Android version. You can see that we have an HD display, not full HD as I mentioned, so 1280 x 720 pixels, which is enough. 16 gigs of internal memory, which you can expand via micro SD, obviously, which I mentioned already. Quad-core processor, and here you can see the Adreno 306. and 30 megapixel and 5 megapixel. I already mentioned that also. And then we are all ready at the end with Wi-Fi, LTE, NFC, Bluetooth 4.0, GPS, everything, of course, built in right here. You can also see it on the top where we have a few notifications that you can just delete like this. You can also see a little timeline where you can see I installed, for example, Untitled a lot later than Temple Run. I can just delete Temple Run by swiping, and you can also see it says delete right there when I swipe it. And you can also say delete all here on the bottom, and then our whole notification bar will be empty except for emergency call because I don't have a SIM card right now inside. If you swipe it down with both fingers, it should get you right away to no shortcuts. Or is it just swiping left or right? That can also might be if you just swipe on the left side, swipe on the right side, then you can get here to the shortcuts. Where you can see, you can say also you want a one-hand UI. You can turn on the airplane mode. You can easily just shoot a screenshot right here from the screen that you have, of course, behind the screen that you see right now. And if you just minimize this, then you can also easily adjust here the brightness of the display or have just auto brightness on, and then it will automatically change the brightness at the hue level that you were choosing before. So we already showed you Enter tool. Let's check out the camera. Quite important, as you can see, it starts up quite quickly, but you can also even quicker start it up by pressing twice here the button here on the bottom, and then it shoots a picture also right away with up to 1.3 seconds delay after you press the volume down rocker twice quickly after each other. So that's a really cool way to just wake up the phone, and I just love the camera. It's really sharp and shoots really amazing pictures here for a cheap phone. You would not expect that, and it just looks great that you have, for example, here a lot of sharpness and there a lot of in-depth view. What you can also do is all focus or just standard photo, which means that with standard photo you have even more features to change the focus between the back and front. It looks a little bit like it would be from the iPhone. If you, for example, just browse here through the settings, that's a little bit strange. But you have also here a few sceneries, so you can say you want sepia, you want posterize, or anything else that might seem interesting to you is available here on the bottom. But of course there's a lot of apps that can do that. So let's just try out the front camera, where we have again here full HD 5 megapixel camera, which should shoot full HD videos also, but I'm actually not sure. And you can see that the wide angle is also quite great, the speed is also good, and the sharpness and quality again here amazing for such cheap phone. So enough about that, let's game a little bit and then compare, and then we are almost finished here with the Huawei Ascend G7 with a huge 3000 milliamp battery. I have to mention that again because it's just amazing how much can fit inside here. The same size battery is actually in the Apple iPhone 6 Plus. We can already compare it with that while this is loading. So you can see that in height they are not the same. The iPhone is taller. In thickness the Huawei is a few millimeters thicker, but not much, 7.2 versus 7.6. And of course the metal body on here and on here feels amazing on both, and is really quite nice. And I just accidentally hit here the last app button, so let's just hit play and game a little bit, and after we can compare a little bit more with the smartphones I showed you at the beginning. This was almost death. Let's try it again. Sorry about that, was just playing around with the phones here on the side, which one I should show you next. So you can see graphics and everything, loading time was alright. Okay, maybe I'm just not good enough for gaming here. I want to show you actually just the browser, and that, for example, we have also swipe built in. So I already typed Washington before, but I can type something else, like for example, I don't know, Paddington. And then you can see it's capitalizing automatically, and it also had the 2 Ds inside, not only one, and so on. So it's quite handy to just swipe here around and play and write like that, if you ask me. And it's also quite quick when it comes to rotating the display. You might think that we have a Lollipop installed. I'm not sure when Lollipop is coming for this device. I'm not sure if it's coming at all. I hope it does, but till then, let's just compare here with the HTC Desire Eye, for example, where you can see in terms of size the same. Display size also the same, 5.5 inches on both. It should be at least. I'm not sure if the HTC has maybe a smaller screen. Wow, I thought it has a 5.5 inch screen. Anyhow, waterproof the HTC, but full plastic, and I think $100 more or $200 more, but with 30 megapixel front dual flash camera. Then premium device by Samsung, the Note 4. Again, a bigger screen, 5.7 inches, a little bit bigger therefore the device itself, maybe 1 or 2 millimeters higher. In terms of thickness, Samsung is a little bit thicker in the middle. And of course, complete different back cover, but otherwise cameras should be around the same. Around the same price, the Honor 6 5-inch Full HD display, full plastic body, but around the same specs otherwise in terms of battery and thickness and everything else. Beautiful devices. And then we have Honor 6 6-inch versus 5.5 inch. The Honor 6 is not that much taller and thicker. Beautiful device. I would definitely choose this one if you like big smartphones. Has the best fingerprint reader I've ever seen in a phone. And the Huawei Ascend G7, which is also a beautiful device. Metal and everything here built in, and huge battery and everything quite great looking. So thank you much for watching. This was the G7 full review. My name is Balazs Gal. Till next time, please tune in again. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you much for watching.